1.
A little something for the weekend with Sam Hunt.
Yeah, why not? A little something for the weekend for Aucklanders and Wellingtonians, and a little something for the weekend that already is for everyone in Christchurch. G'day there, Sam.
Oh, yes, hello, Wano. Hey, and you've got to add too.
Yes.
Good morning, how are you?
Yes, I'm very well. Yourself?
I haven't checked yet. I haven't stood upright yet. You never know, do you? You could stand up and you find you've gone the wrong way.
Well, that's true. You might have no legs. Who knows?
I may have no legs. No, I've got legs. I'm just checking. They're looking pretty sharp, actually.
Okay, good.
Hey, I was going to say, when you were talking about listeners there,
Yeah.
we have listeners, well, you and I have listeners in Sydney, because over this week, I got a letter.
Yeah.
I quite like the way it was addressed. It was addressed to Sam Hunt, Kaipara Harbour District. It's a pretty big harbour.
Yeah.
But anyway, it got to me, obviously. And, you don't know all the ones that don't get to you, of course, because you never know about those ones. But this was a really nice letter from a bunch of, as they describe themselves, a bunch of Kiwis living in Manly.
Oh, yeah.
In Sydney.
Yep.
Now, would they listen to the program? Would they podcast it?
They might be watching it on YouTube afterwards, or they could be listening to the live stream or watching the live stream. There's so many different ways, but yeah, they could be seeing it on YouTube. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, and a poem of mine that they've got on the wall of their flat, they want me to read.
Oh, great.
So it's a poem I made up. I used to go to Sydney on quite a regular basis. I still do the odd thing there, of course, in Melbourne and things. But when I was younger, I used to go across, like in the 70s and the 80s. We used to go over, working, doing shows and things, on a regular basis. And a lot of poems came from those times. And this is one of them. This is the one for the bunch of Kiwis in Manly, and it's called Four Manly Verses. And they go like this: so much bare flesh, so very smooth, brown as any berry, utterly untouchable. A man can only babble, dream the unattainable, stutter the impossible. The loneliness of summer, the over 40 runner, swim between flags, rescue phone 111. Once a man has blown, youth, oh, once the bird has flown, man drowns alone, blood and bone. The fat and middle-aged all out in force, out for a ball, all end up in the kitsch, lounge bar, perving at the beach, sun, salt, the 7-year itch, the gold flesh out of reach. Meantime, lover by lover, the young and the sun, never heard of cancer of the skin, horizons there, the dorsal fin, ever asked the price of sin, Sonia, Barry, Brian, Lynn. So that's one for Sonia. Their names aren't Sonia, Barry, Brian, and Lynn, but there is a Lynn among them. So I've got it right there.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, no, that was lovely to get that. So they said that if I guess that they're going to, I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to record it or something.
And when people write to you, because letters to me seem so foreign these days. I never get a letter.
It's nice getting letters.
Yeah. Written or typed?
Say that again.
Are they handwritten or typed out?
This is handwritten. Definitely. In fact, quite difficult writing to read. But well worth it. Here's another one I'd like to read. It's because it comes from the same period. It was time that I was over there doing a season. I hate doing seasons. I was there. I mean, it went well, but I was doing 3 weeks in the same venue.
And it's like almost every single night, yeah.
Every night. In fact, I was doing eight shows a week.
Yeah.
I do. So the only thing changing, well, apart from your show,
and no stand-ins. You couldn't have a stand-in, could you?
Well, no, I don't. No, I don't have stand-ins.
Well, you know, like when they do Phantom of the Opera, season of Phantom of the Opera, they have a stand-in if someone's sick.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But not for you.
No, that'd be right. Yeah. No, I haven't got a stand-in. If I bloody did, I'd get rid of them. But I remember on this occasion I was staying at a hotel which was used a lot by people in the sort of entertainment world, for want of another phrase. And I remember on this occasion when I wrote this next poem, which is called "It's Rain Today in Sydney," which I'd also like to dedicate especially to the gang out there in Manly and everyone else. I was staying at this hotel in Sydney called, I don't even know whether it's still there, I suppose it is, called the Southern Cross. And I remember on that occasion some of the other guests included the Harlem Globetrotters. I remember that the Harlem Globetrotters. They were coming through town.
Yeah.
Julian Lloyd Webber.
Yes.
The cellist. And brother, of course, of the one who writes those awful bloody musicals. But Julian Lloyd Webber, who I got to know quite well. Rick Nelson.
Yeah.
Ricky Nelson, he was doing a comeback. He got moved on from that hotel because I think they'd found he was free basing or something, and they moved him out to Bondi.
Oh, yeah.
And then sometime after that, I liked him. He was a very fragile fellow. He wrote some great songs. He wrote Garden Party, didn't he? That was one of his latest songs.
Right, yeah.
Rick Nelson. And later, I think he died. He died in an accident, which I think was caused by something to do with the plane he was flying in over Texas, burnt down and crashed.
Crikey.
Anyway, it was. I'll tell you who else was staying there, and I met him, and there's been a film made about him since, and that's that French tightrope walker.
Oh, I've seen that film.
Have you seen that film?
Yeah, that is great. The footage they captured of some of those feats and the photos between he tightrope walked between the twin towers.
That's right.
Oh,
he hadn't done that at the time I met him back in the I think in the early 1980s.
Yeah.
He hadn't done that. In fact, he was in Sydney at the time. But what he was doing was sussing a walk that he did do, which somehow involved the Sydney Harbour Bridge. I've forgotten. Was it the Opera House?
Well, it was Sydney Harbour Bridge, yeah, or one of the bridges. It must have been Sydney Harbour Bridge.
He was good. I liked him.
Yeah.
We got on great. I mean, he was a bit like me. You know, we had to pace ourselves. You know, you couldn't get too fast early in the day. You know, because I'd have a show at night and he'd be having to walk a tightrope somewhere.
And mad as just
really good.
Yeah.
I want to see that film. I must find out the name of that film and see it. Can you remember?
I will. I'll see if I can figure
Check it out for me.
Yeah.
Here's this poem. Anyway, this is called "It's Rain Today in Sydney." I never would have dreamt it that words, the telling them, could lead to this charmed, crazed day. I would have told it differently, that last bit anyway, but that's where you come in, spirit and lady, and the rain comes down. I never knew rain could fall so, as to, I hardly know your name, but know it has to do with rain, and telling the story, telling it true, charming it crazy. Place matters too, to tell where we are, miles high and one with rain, above two city streets, Goulburn and Elizabeth. Yeah.
Cool.
Little tribute to those in Sydney.
Man on Wire is the name of the film.
Oh, good one. Man on Wire.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I must ring those video people that post you out videos and get them to do that. Yeah.
Do that.
Videos, DVDs. Yeah.
That's it.
Hey, just one thing too, just to say, I'm just want to bring in a very new poem, very short little poem. It's Chord 60, because this weekend, in fact, I am sending off the manuscript to the publishers of this new book of poems, which is going to be called Chords, which I've mentioned before.
Yeah.
And this time I'm doing it. We're talking about posting things. Well, this time I'm sending the poems sort of through the ether, on the email. And then what they will do at the Craig Potton end, at the publisher's end, they'll then print them out, courier me a hard copy, and then I can do the real sort of editing, spread them all around, and
Yeah.
Yeah. So
arrange
here's
them,
one
yeah.
here. This is an old age poem. It's called Chord 60. It came about after a conversation with my manager about not working so late at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I do shows at 6 o'clock in the morning now. get the work out of the way. Get the work out of the way.
One extreme to the other.
Oh, well, I reckon. Anyway, here's Chord 60, very short. Dedicated to all those who are, shall we say, feeling their years a bit. I said last night, no going to work after 6:30. Revised it since 6 p.m., no later. A lark, not an hour tour. Don't want the company of strangers, not after dark. By 9, able to talk to myself for no one overhearing. Then by 10, in heaven. So that's me. By 10 in heaven.
10 in heaven.
That's me.
And La La Land.
Well, I don't know, but still, it's good. It's good not to have to go to work. I've got sick of that, of the late night thing. So afternoon and pre-dinner shows sort of suits me better.
But it's interesting, they say as you get older, you go to bed later and get up earlier. Is that right?
I get up early. I love the a lark not an hour tour. Yeah, I love the early mornings. Of course, with a young son to get off to school, that means I've sort of got to get up, at 6 o'clock sort of thing.
I also love getting up early, but I'm not sure I will ever enjoy it.
Oh.
There's a love and hate.
Well, once you're out in the world,
It's great.
Good.
Oh, yeah, but it's just the
But
process.
sometimes you get out there and you blink and you think it's early and you feel, well, no, bugger this, I'm back to bed. Call the boss, I'm not coming out.
Yeah, well, I'd love to see. I am the boss around. Well, no.
Well, I'm the boss too. Yeah. I'm only the boss of myself. I'm not the boss of anyone else.
That's the problem sometimes.
Well, you have a good weekend, Whammo.
Yeah, you too.
Okay.
Have fun.
And good to talk to you, and I'll get these poems pumping through the ether.
Righto.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye, Whammo.
That was a little something for the weekend with Sam Hunt, only on